2 of Amazing Stories was titled The Heat. Tuka and Sterling are best friends whose bond transcends the physical world as they follow their dreams after tragedy strikes. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot here today to talk about the second episode of Apple TV Plus' new revamp, reimagining, reboot of Amazing Stories. Very excited to talk about The Heat, a very interesting and unique story that we're going to talk about today in this review. Before we dive into it, as you all can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my social media accounts. If you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new Amazing Story TV reviews, as well as other reviews that I do on this channel. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel, and I also really appreciate it. And last but not least, guys, if and when you've seen the second episode of Amazing Stories titled The Heat, let me know what you think of it. Did you enjoy this new, somewhat, it was a love story like last week, but it was also a little bit of a different spin to the genre that we've seen before. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So yeah, guys, I'm going to try to keep this, I think I'm going to keep these reviews spoiler free, and if I do go into the spoilers, I'll obviously warn you guys, but we're going to keep the first half at least spoiler free, just my initial thoughts. So at the surface value, when I watched the episode probably about 30 minutes ago, and I was kind of processing, the subtext and the themes and the acting, the performances, the direction, you taking all that in this hour time. And at first I'm like, it's a rough around the edges, kind of thinking of, the direction of the episode. I wasn't too familiar with a lot of the people involved, the director, the writer, the two actresses who I thought were pretty solid. I wasn't familiar with anyone, but after thinking about it, this was a pretty solid story. If you look at it from a surface value, you've seen this before, just like we saw last week, the time travel love story. This one implements a love story, and we'll talk about that maybe in the back half if we dive into spoilers, but there is a love story there. A story about friendship, as well as the theme that really kind of hit home with me as I was kind of thinking about this episode was we've all had this, right? Where we've either lost a loved one, we've seen someone pass away, we've heard of, the instance where you wish you could have told that person how you felt. You wish you would have told them how they made you feel, things of that nature. So that really kind of hit home with me in this particular story. And like I said, after watching, I was like, oh man, that was kind of, like I said, a little rough around the edges. But the more I start to think about it, it was beautiful to see the story being told, number one, because this is in the times we live in. I think it's very important to have people being represented on the screen. I know people are going to bring up, oh, this is an agenda. They're putting the agenda before the story. And in some cases that is, that can be the case, but I don't think that's the case with this one. Number one, it's an all black cast, which is, really awesome to see. We've obviously seen that in the past, more recently successfully in Black Panther and other TV shows, but I thought that was really cool to see. Also, number two, seeing women of color in the position that they were in the story. You don't really see that type of relationship at a frequent base. And there's also, without getting too much away, there's a particular, other storyline in LGBTQ community that I thought was being represented as well. So again, I know some people are going to see this episode and just be like, oh man, they went that direction. Like, oh man, again, agenda. Sure, that word can be tossed around for some instances, but for me, I didn't see it that way. And I really thought that was a beautiful story to be told, because again, you don't really see that type of story being told, especially in this type of big platform like Apple TV Plus. Again, Black community, women of color, women in general. And then again, the relationship that was established in this story, without giving too much away, I thought was really beautifully told. Again, there are some criticisms in regards to, I thought, the creativeness of the certain shots that the director chose to do. Like there was this one shot where one of our main characters, Tuka, was in the streets and was kind of lost and confused, and they did like a fish cam type of angle. I thought that was kind of a weird decision. And it was also some weird close-ups and just some things around the dialogue that I thought was a little underwritten and a little underdeveloped. Like there's a lot of moments where our character Sterling has some self-reflection moments. She's talking to herself. And again, the idea sounds good. I just thought the execution of those ideas weren't fully fleshed out, in my opinion. There were some logical things that I had questions about, especially with Tuka's character after the tragic events that happened to her, where it's like, okay, so I don't want to give too much away, but she meets someone in a similar circumstance, and he's able to do certain things, and I just wondered what he was able to do that Tuka wasn't able to do, and how they were able to do that. And again, I won't dive too much into that unless I decide to go into spoilers. But at the end of the day, guys, like I said, overall thinking of this episode, I think the message really kind of hits home. I think the performances were fine. I don't know if these two actresses, but I thought they did a really good job of portraying their chemistry. You can tell that they're friends. They have a really strong bond. I thought that kind of portrayed well. It was shown within the story. But there were some moments where I thought the acting wasn't all that great. Some of the more of the emotional stuff didn't land that hard for me in some of the more serious scenes. And like I said, I thought the direction was a little bit rough at times and the dialogue wasn't that great. But again, I think the story was important, again, to representing people, showing true love, showing the message again, which I think is really important, which is let people know how you feel about them. Let people know how much you love them, how much you care for them, how much they mean to you, because that's very important, because we don't know where we're going to go. We're going through a crisis right now in the world, and it's very important to tell the people next to you how important they are to you. So for me, that was a really strong message. Again, I know the execution wasn't all that great, but I thought the message kind of really hit home. So I don't think I need to dive into spoilers unless you guys want to talk about spoilers. Maybe in the comment section, just make sure you put spoilers in there. Or again, I'm on social media. Hit me up on Instagram. We could talk about it via DMs because I love talking about movies and shows. But at the end of the day, I think that this was a good attempt at what they were trying to do. It was just a little not executed as much as I wanted to. I would say from episode 1 and 2, again, the themes of a love story. This is kind of a reminiscence of Ghost, if you guys remember that Patrick Swayze movie back in the 90s, and Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg. It had those vibes to it, and it has those tropes. But again, I think that they took those tropes and gave you a twist. And I don't know how you all feel about the twist. Again, I was just like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. But then I thought about it, like, it hits home. Tell people how you feel about them and kind of take it from there. So I won't go into spoilers again unless you guys want to talk about it via Instagram or Twitter or in the comments below. But just make sure you put spoilers in the comments there. So all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with this episode. At first, I was a little let down, but then the more I processed the episode, I actually kind of really like it. So I'm excited to see what episode 3 has to offer. Again, we're sticking with love stories. So I hope that, nothing against love, and we definitely need love at this time that we're in right now and this crisis. But I would like to see some more stuff being implemented in next week's episode, because again, they didn't really touch on the sci-fi elements like they did in the first one with the whole cloud and everything that's going around with this anthology. So I would like to see a little bit more action, maybe a little bit more horror in next episode. But so far, it's a pretty solid experience watching this first 2 episodes. So let me know what you all thought of episode 2, The Heat, the performances, your likes, your dislikes. Again, if you want to talk spoilers, just make sure you put spoilers in the comments, or we can talk more in depth on Instagram. Just hit me up at Movie Files, which, again, you can see my link, social media, it's in the comments below or in the description below. But let me know what you all thought of this episode. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new amazing TV reviews, other TV reviews. Check out my content that I have on my channel right now, such as Bloodshot. I just saw The Hunt, and then I will be reviewing a Netflix film that will be probably dropping on my channel tomorrow. So, again, guys, as I said in my last few videos, if you're going out, stay safe, stay clean, and be safe out there. So this is Elliot at Movie Files, and I will be back pretty soon with my Netflix review. But other than that, thank you for watching this review, and we'll see you on the next one.